Economic growth and development. What are the distinctions between economic growth and development? When is the economy growing and when is the economy developing? A growth or economic growth is an increase in output over time. So when we have an increase in output, probably we have an output of 200 units or 200 tons, and we increase to 400 tons. The economy is said to be growing. Now, for us to grow, or for us to know that the economy is growing, there are some indicators of economic growth. Number one is an increase in stock and quality of capital goods, an increase in the quality and quantity of labor force, an increase in the quality and quantity of natural resources, the efficiency of these factors, and the development and introduction of innovative techniques. But development is much more encompassing and is much a multifaceted concept. So by economic development, we say economic development is economic growth, e.g., plus standard of living increase. So what I'm trying to say here is that for us to say we are developing, there must be an increase in the standard of living, or rather, the economic growth must show, or sorry, the development must show in the standard of living of the people of the country. Now, there are three major components of development. Development in the general sense means change. This one sense in which development is used is to describe the process of economic and social transformation within countries. It is also concerned with the distributional consequences of economic policies to the type of output that is produced to the economic environment. For us to know whether we are developing or we are growing, there are three major components of development. The first component is life sustenance. Life sustenance. By life sustenance, we mean the provision of basic needs. Provision of basic needs. The second component of development is self-esteem. Self-esteem. So by self-esteem, we mean self-respect and independence. Self-respect and independence. Independence. The third component is freedom. Freedom, there must be freedom. Freedom. So freedom from what? Freedom from want. Freedom from ignorance. And freedom from squalor. So these are the three major components of development. So when you say economic growth, it's an increase in output, like I've said, but economic development must show, the distributional effect must be shown on the standard of living of the people. Now, there are some indicators of development. The first one is real GNP, and this is affected by the price level. We have the real per capita income. We have the ratio of industry to agric. The ratio, of course, the ratio of industry should be more than the ratio of the agriculture. The literacy ratio. There must be high level of literacy. Like in Nigeria, the level of literacy is assumed to be 15%, which is low as compared to UK, where we have as much as probably 96% or thereabout of literacy ratio. Then the life expectancy. The average Nigerian for the males has 52% life expectancy, while the females have 49% life expectancy, as compared to the developed countries, where we have a 70% life expectancy. Then we have the output worker ratio as another indicator of development. Economic development suffers from so many problems. One of the problems is the rapid population growth and inadequate human capital development. We have a consistent or a persistent increase in population without actually preparing or planning for the increase in population. Another is inadequate savings, investment, and capital formation. Capital formation is a serious problem in the country. Even when you go approach banks to probably lend a loan or something, banks come up with a lot of embarrassing collateral security, which makes it cumbersome to apply for a loan. So, another problem development is facing is rudimentary technology. We make use of the technology we are making use of has been used in the outside world for years. So, in terms of technology, we are said to be backwards. Unfavorable external economic environment. Now, the environment we have at the external level, that's the outside world, does not really favor or does not really encourage or does not really help our development. For example, dumping is paramount in developing countries. And the dumping, of course, comes from overseas. So all these factors put together does not really encourage our development. Now, before I go, I would like to talk about the development plans we've had in Nigeria. Now, we have the first development plan, which ranges from the first development plan. First development plan is started in 1962 and it ended in 1968. We have the second development plan. We started in 1970 and it ended in 1974. We had the third development plan. We started in 1975 and it ended in 1980. Then the fourth development plan in Nigeria, we started in 1981 and ended in 1985. So after this fourth development plan, we had a structural adjustment program. That was in 1986, which is called SAP. Structural Adjustment Program, SAP. Structural Adjustment Program in 1986. So after then, we've been having series of policy. When we approach or we move to a democratic dispensation in 1999, the presidency came up with a new policy, which is needs, and we have seeds at the state level. The needs means National Economic Empowerment Development Strategy. While the seeds for the state level is an abbreviation which means State Economic Empowerment Development Strategy. This was put in place for 8 years, and after 8 years we had a change in government which brought about another agenda which we are still using up to today, which we call the seven point agenda. So the 7-point agenda. The first agenda is power and energy. The second one is food security and agriculture. The third one is qualitative and functional education. The next is land reforms. The next one is mass transportation. The next one is the Niger Delta. Then we have the structural and the functional employment.